Welcome or welcome back. I am Tavish Cardiff, one of the co-founders of the Our Raw Material Practice, here with some weekly guidance for each pillar. Listening Week is where we introduce the concept of the soul voice and the ego voice. This session we are doing something a little more meditative, so go ahead and get into a breathing rhythm that feels good to you. You don't have to get completely relaxed, just aware of an intentional breath. And as you get that going, always push on the exhale. That's where we get rid of that stagnant, energetic debris that's hanging around. Let's just take on the idea of the ego energies for a minute. The ego voice is the voice that keeps us safe. It tells us what we need. It regulates the body. And it is incredibly important and integral to who we are. And I think that the idea that we have to get rid of it sometimes is counterproductive to what really exists energetically. The soul voice also exists within us. It's a little bit quieter. I think a lot of times you hear this said as higher or lower, inner, outer. Those expressions all really mean the same thing. So take a deep breath and a big exhale around whatever terminology doesn't hit and try to pull one in that does. But that soul voice is here with the constant awareness that we are connected. So these two voices might regularly be at odds within our bodies, and they're supposed to. That is their natural state. So instead of feeling completely indecisive, let yourself be aware. Here's what my ego thinks. Here's what my soul thinks. Which one has the right of way in this particular situation? So let's just, call up something that you have pressing as a decision. And it can be something simple like what's for lunch, or it can be, something, a more major life decision. But let yourself breathe around whatever the decision is. Just breathe. Let your mind go blank. Ask it to step away for a second and just listen to the reasons that the ego supports or doesn't support your choice. And then lean into what the soul would like to see or appreciates. There is no right or wrong answer here. There is only your own consideration and respect for both of those voices, and trusting your own value system to know which one gets the right of way right now in this moment. Take a couple deep breaths, exhaling, making sure you're still connected to that deep soul space of energy. As you push on this next exhale, just consider your own ego for a moment. All of the ways that it protects you, and all of the ways that it gets in the way of the things that you want. Within the listening pillar, we have the ability to go in and change the conditions that exist around some of the things that trigger us. We have a natural pathway towards certain thoughts that don't serve us. The ones that do, we obviously want to create more of those if we can. And the ones that don't, it's more finding awareness, finding space to use them creatively, and finding an avenue or an outlet that is creative when we find ourselves stuck in a loop of negative self-talk or negative banter about whatever your thoughts and ideas are. Creative energy is the basis for our connection and for everything that we are. We are all part of this creation of humanity and the earth, and the more that we accept our part in it by listening from within, past the ego voice, past the judgment of what is normal and moral and objectively okay. Let your own thoughts and feelings be indicators of who you really are, what you really feel, so that you become more creative within yourself. We all have some part of us that we don't want to listen to, choose not to listen to, tamp down, try to shut up. And whether that voice is quiet or loud, it's the balance of the voice that we are trying to call reason. And as we sit in listening week this week, just start categorizing your thoughts. Is that a soul thought or is that an ego thought? Which scale does it fall a little more on? And just be aware of where the right thing is to be right now for you. Not what the world would appreciate, not what society dictates, but getting to know you within yourself as a spiritual being so that you can see yourself in wholeness, work towards the things that you would like to see, the intentions that you would like to align with. And beyond that, give yourself some grace for where you consider yourself coming up short. Listening with your own heart to your own raw material and giving yourself an energetic hug in all of the places where you feel like you haven't measured up. Let your ego subside just enough to let that soul voice come in and say something kind. And I think that's probably the most important thing to remember when listening to these two voices. The soul voice never has anything negative to say to you. The soul voice does not think that you are bad in any way. It is 100% supportive of you. As you go through this week, give yourself the grace to hear your ego's opinion and your soul's opinion. Let them both be valid and work from which one makes sense in the moment. I'll be back next week to talk about the values and ideals pillar, our next mental week. Until then, thank you.